Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is an emergency video about the stock market and the economy. This is my third time shooting this video. I keep having technical issues, but this is an emergency video. The stock market is about to crash. It is about to be the worst crash probably in American history. It's going to be worse than the Great Depression. I know the election is just wrapped up, but I really wanted to get this video out before the election, but wasn't able to do that. So it is what it is. But the stock market is about to crash, and it has nothing to do with who won the election, whether Trump would have won, whether Kamala would have won. Nobody's going to be able to stop it. We have been in hard times for the past couple of years, and it's about to only get worse. And so I just want to share this information so you can prepare yourself and do what you got to do to come out on top. Even in bad times, not everybody will be affected the same. So I want to share this ahead of time so you can, like I say, try to come out on top. So there's three things you need to do during these hard times. But first, before I get into all of that, I want to freestyle a little bit and talk about all the things that's been going on. So, and forgive me if I ramble a little bit because this is my third take and I'm just trying to get it out quick. So yeah. So in the past few years, we've had inflation going crazy, prices of everything going real high. Things becoming really unaffordable. Housing is too unaffordable. Whether you own a house, whether you rent, it's all unaffordable. Groceries and everything, gas prices, the Fed rates. So the Fed has increased the rates, trying to fight inflation. They hadn't done such a great job, but rates are still really high, even though they've started coming down. And a little bit of, I, I'm debating on how much detail I want to go into on that. But basically, I'll say that for another video. I'll talk about more about the Fed rates and everything later. But short, the Fed doesn't necessarily control the rates. The rates are controlled by the free market, and the Fed responds trying to. I'll say that for another video. But what I do want to say right now is I think the rates are going to go up even higher than what they are now. Regardless of what the Fed tries to do, the rates will go up. So prepare for that. We got wars all around the world. Y'all know about the wars. We got BRICS. If you don't know about BRICS, BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. They're trying to create a new currency so they won't have to be dependent on the U.S. dollar. A lot of these things are connected with each other. The wars, the BRICS, the Fed rates, and all of that type of stuff, the inflation, a lot of it is really connected. But that may be too much for this video. So we've had bank failures. A lot of banks have got in serious trouble and they failed. And likely more banks will continue to fail. So gas prices going crazy, political division in the country, layoffs, layoffs in tech, layoffs in the medical field, layoffs in just about every place you can think of. Layoffs have been happening. And with that being said, I've seen people get laid off or fired at every different income level. I've seen people, doctors getting fired, laid off, or whatever the case may be. I've seen people in tech, people in all different industries, and trucking. Back in 2020, if you had any kind of pickup truck or whatever kind of truck you had, people were making money doing hot shot. But now trucking ain't so good no more because the economy is slowing down. People are buying less stuff. So we got AI. There's good and bad to AI. The good is that we all get to benefit and use AI. AI is going to make a lot of things less expensive because you can just type it in or talk to the AI. AI will do stuff for you. Graphic design, writing stuff, giving you advice on different things or whatever. AI will do a lot. As a result, businesses are going to need a lot less employees. So I believe that has a lot to do with a lot of the layoffs that have been happening. Um, so businesses will be able to get a lot more done with a lot less employees. And also in your personal life, you'll be able to get a lot more done without having to pay for stuff. So that is deflationary. And I guess that's a good segue because I think we are going to go through a very significant deflationary period where prices of everything is going to be coming down. And so I'll get a little bit more into that. But the another thing is the silver tsunami. Silver tsunami is basically about baby boomers getting up in age, getting to the point of retirement. And so now that the baby boomers are one of the biggest, or if not the biggest generation that we have alive today, and they're the wealthiest generation that we have alive today. So a lot of the money that's in the stock market is in the hands of baby boomers, and as they reach retirement age, and they take their money out of the stock market to enjoy their lives, um, a lot of stock will be sold, and that's going to lead to prices going down. And so, be aware of all these different things that are happening. It's not just one thing; it's a whole laundry list of things that are happening that are going to affect the stock market going down. I don't think no president is going to fix this situation. I predicted this in 2020. The videos are still up on the channel. Um, whether it was Kamala, whether it was Trump, it does not matter. Don't be too caught up in politics because president doesn't necessarily determine your personal financial situation. They have effect over the overall economy, but your personal financial situation, you have a lot more control over that. And so focus on what you can do to help your own situation. So the first thing you need to do in these difficult times is to protect your wealth, whether it be your job, your retirement accounts, your business, your assets, whatever it is you want to protect what you have. And so, in the workplace, it's not the time to be picking fights with your coworkers or your boss or whoever. It's not the time to be quitting jobs. It's not as easy to get a job right now as it was in 2020, 2021. It's going to be a lot harder. I remember being in my situation in 2008 where everything was going great. We were coming out of a period of where everything, the economy was good. And me personally, I was doing real good. I had a dream job, basically, a job that I enjoyed doing a lot. And I was still in school, but I had another year of school left. I was entering into my senior year, and so I wanted to focus on my senior year and graduate. And so I had it in my head that, man, I'm doing so good. It'll be easy for me to find a job because I'm that dude. I'm doing great in school, doing great at this job I have now. But what I found out is that the economy entered into the Great Recession that we know, and then it was a lot harder to find a job. And so, in retrospect, I should have stayed with that job. It was a perfect job for me, you know. But that being said, in your situations now, understand the times that we're about to go into. This ain't the time to be quitting good jobs, good paying jobs. You might find yourself in a situation where you go to a job that pays less. And so, or be unemployed for a little while. So be mindful of that. With your retirement accounts, sell. I really want to tell everybody, sell all your stock right now. That's what I really want to do. But that's not the way financial planning works. And I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so am not giving anybody any personal advice, any kind of. I don't want to get caught up legally or no kind of way with that. I'm just here sharing what I know. I'm an investor who knows enough about the markets and learns enough about the markets to put myself in a good situation. And what I've found out since I've been doing this is that I got into it for my own benefit, but the things that I've learned, especially with predicting the markets, is that these things have big ramifications. So I can't just do this for myself. I got to share this information with everybody else because I don't want to see everybody around me suffering and struggling. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing this. Use the information however it can benefit you, and I hope you do well. But um, like I say, I really want to say everybody sell your stocks now because the market is at all time high. There's been a little spike since the election results came in. Look, I don't care what y'all thinking. The market is going to crash terribly, um, and I'll do a separate video. I believe I'll do a separate video talking about the charts. But if you saw me predicting the bottom of the crash in 2020 when COVID happened, you saw me make my projections of how high the market was gonna go. Well, the market has reached those targets, and it's honestly above those targets. In some situations, I looked at the S&P 500 and the Dow. So the S&P 500 is a little bit above my targets. But that being said, um, it is not all that wise to be buying at the top of the market, especially if you're somebody who is looking back at the past and saying, in these last few years, people have made so much money in the stock market. I want to get into it now. It's not wise. Um, so be careful. Be careful. I'm so serious when I say this. There are so many signs in the market that we're heading to a crash. And before, not everybody was saying it, but now it's almost like um, everybody is saying that we headed to a terrible crash, and people are calling it the everything bubble. I actually think that stocks are gonna crash, crypto is gonna crash, precious metals are gonna crash, and a lot of stuff. Um, it is not a time right now to be taking a lot of risk, and so for every different person, everybody's situation is different. So you can't take the same advice for everybody. I can't give the same advice to every person. So somebody is saying, "Oh, I want to buy a house right now." Somebody's saying, "I want to buy a car right now." Somebody's saying, "I want to retire and go on vacations right now." Somebody is saying, "I got another 30 years of work life ahead of me. I don't need to spend none of my retirement money or nothing like that. All I need to do is right now is work hard and keep saving and grinding." So with that being said, everybody's in different um, situations, and so the same financial advice wouldn't make sense for every person. But just in general, know that the stock market is going to crash. That is my opinion based off of experience being right a lot, and knowing how to read the charts. So, um, you want to look at what type of access do you have to your retirement accounts. Are you over the age or whatever the situation to take the money out of them, your retirement accounts? Do you have control over your retirement accounts? Can you put your money into cash? Can you sell your stocks and put it into cash? Can you, if you can't sell and put it into cash, do you have access to bonds? Can you take your money out of the stock market and put it into bonds? All of these things are things that you need to be figuring out right now. Um, But in general, you want to move your money to really, really low risk places. And bonds right now is one of those low risk places. Treasury bonds, I think you can get like 4 or 5% or whatever it is right now. Um, what I have is a Fidelity account, a brokerage account where you can invest your money in the market, but when it's not in the market, you can designate it to whatever cash funds that they have available. The one I have is the one I use is SPAX, SPAXX, and basically, when your money is sitting still just in cash, um, I want to say a few months ago I was getting like a 5.5% return, but I don't know what it is now. Doesn't matter to me. It's not that important. The most important thing is just to put your money in a safe place. And so, however you can do that right now to protect your retirement accounts, your brokerage accounts, and all those type of things. Your business. You also need to be mindful to protect your business. In 2020, we saw a lot of businesses go bankrupt. A lot of businesses shut down because they didn't know how to deal with um, the current situation, the world shutting down. And so that'll lead me into my next point. But before we get there, also any type of assets that you have, just think about how can I protect my assets? How can um, you know I not lose it all or lose most of it when the stock market crashes? Because the type of crash, man, when we get into the charts, I'll show y'all. But just to give you a quick idea, um, we could be talking about an 80% drop in the stock markets, the S&P 500, the Dow. Um, we could be talking about what I believe several decades of the market crashing and being volatile and not reaching new all-time highs. So, um, like I say, take this message serious and get ready. Don't believe what a politician says about, because everybody's gonna want to use chaos to um, get elected or get power or do whatever. But um, don't necessarily trust that. Don't trust the story that somebody's gonna tell you. And this ain't about what side is right or what side is wrong or whatever, but it's just about you taking charge of your own personal situation instead of sitting back and waiting on somebody else to do it for you. Nobody's gonna take care of your money the same way you take care of it, and so that's gonna be very important in difficult times. So I'm trying to make sure I cover all my bases, all the points that I talked about since it's my third time going over this, man. But I'll just keep rolling through it. The second thing you can do is prepare yourself. Um, you need to be sharpening your skills that you already have, doubling down on whatever it is that you do right now, and being better at it. Um, don't just sit back and sit still. Like there's some type of statistic that's out there that says like once people graduate high school, they never read another nonfiction book in their life or something like that. Don't let that be you. You need to be continuing your education. It doesn't degrees and all that don't matter. It's just about what you know and how good you are at what you do. So um, do things to sharpen yourself, whether it be signing up for different programs, learning on YouTube, or reading books. Books is one of the best sources of knowledge because, for example, one of my mentors told me, mentors is a good one too, but one of my mentors told me that people live and have 20, 30, 40 years of experience doing something, then they write a book about it, and then that book you can read in a few hours or a few days, and that all of that experience and all of that life that they've lived you can get that in a very short period of time. Somebody's already been there, done that, and so get into good books, and be ready to pivot. That's what I was alluding to about the businesses that went bankrupt and closed down in the pandemic. A lot of them weren't ready to pivot. They weren't ready to understand how the market was going to change, with people not going out of the house and stuff like that, and people not traveling as much. And so since they weren't ready to pivot, they had to shut down. So as we have things like AI changing the way the markets work, changing the way people do work and operate and stuff like that. How do you integrate AI into your business? How do you integrate AI into your job or whatever it is that you do? And it's not just AI. It's whatever way the markets pivot right now. Be prepared. Don't take forever to pivot, because those who pivot faster will be better off. And most importantly, trust God, man. Man, if the market does what I think it's gonna do, like an 80% drop in the S&P 500, a 90% drop, man, the times are gonna be real hard. People are gonna be tempted to go out and rob and steal and do whatever you can to survive and all this kind of stuff. Really think about the Great Depression. People are gonna be going hungry. Like, it's gonna be real bad, and so don't fall to the temptation to go out and do crazy things, because it's only gonna put you in a worse situation. What I believe is that doing things in a godly way will put you in the best situation. So I that's one of my core things that I believe, and I'm gonna be talking about on this channel. So I can go elaborate on that more in different videos. But just know that doing things illegally, and just the wrong way in general, you end up in jail, you end up dead, you end up in all kinds of trouble, end up with bad credit, end up in all kind of trouble, and it's only gonna make your situation worse. So it's better to do things the right way. I would elaborate on that, but I figure y'all know what I mean when I say that. So the third thing that you need to be doing is predicting what's about to be happening. So whether that be reading the charts like I do, following the trends that are happening in your particular industry, or just in the world in general. Um, do what you can to predict where the world is going. The most important thing is the demand. Where is the demand at, and where is the demand going? If you go where the demand goes, you can meet the needs of the demand, and when you meet the needs of the demand, that's where you make money. And so what it might sound crazy, economics talk or whatever, but basically, if to bring it home, if you're a barber and you doing fading people up, and people stop wearing fades, people stop wearing tapers, people stop wearing bald fades or whatever, everybody's wearing dreads, or people are doing this or doing that. You can't be the same barber that does the old haircut that nobody want no more. You gotta change to where the demand is at now. So if people are wearing dreads, if people are wearing braids, or if people are doing different kind of cuts, you gotta adapt your business to that. And so, in general, apply that to your own industry or whatever it is that you do. Be able to adapt to the current situation. And like I said earlier, one of the bigger things right now is the silver tsunami. The baby boomers, they need, in real estate, it's a big thing. They need assisted living facilities and a lot of different stuff. In the medical industry, they need healthcare. So if you cater your stuff your business or your whatever to the demand, that's where you make money. So look for it around you. What do the people around you need? Um, yeah. But like I said before, I will be following up in another video at some point, looking at the charts. I want to wrap this video up real quick and not go too long. Hopefully, this video don't have no issues, and I can upload it. And also, what do you think about all this? Do you think the market is gonna go up? You think the market is gonna go down? Do you think I'm talking crazy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But appreciate you for tuning in. I hope y'all stay blessed. Hope y'all do well. See you in the next one. Peace.